Rahul, a lively 10-year-old boy, was a diligent student who loved his studies and had many friends at school. However, when he came home, he often found himself alone. Both of his parents were quite busy. His father worked at a large office, and his mother was a doctor. Every day after school, Rahul would return home to an empty house waiting for his parents to come back by the evening. One day, Rahul said to his parents, "Mom, I don't like being by myself. No one is around to play with me." His mother gently replied, "We know, Rahul, but we have to work hard so we can provide everything you need." Rahul nodded, understanding their reasoning, but deep down, he felt sad. He wished his parents had more time to spend with him one day. Rahul's mother came up with a solution. "Rahul, your Aunt Srimati can stay with you today. She'll come over and spend some time with you." Aunt Srimati was Rahul's mother's older sister. She was always cheerful and very loving. She lived alone and often brought small gifts for Rahul when she visited. "Oh, Auntie," Rahul said excitedly. "So I get to see her today from then on." Rahul started spending more time at Aunt Shah's house. Her place was small, but coy, and he enjoyed spending time there. She would tell him fun stories, make his favorite snacks, and sometimes they would watch TV together. Rahul's days began to feel much more joyful and full of laughter. One day, Aunt Srimati gave him a new toy car as a gift. "This is for you, Rahul," she said with a smile. "You're like the little brother." "I never had, thank you, Auntie. It's my favorite," Rahul beamed with happiness, but after a few days things started to feel a bit strange. One afternoon after school, when Rahul returned to Aunt Shah's house, he noticed she called him over in an unusually close manner and suggested they play a special game. At first, Rahul was a bit confused, but with her smiling face, he didn't think anything was wrong. However, as the game continued, Rahul began to feel uncomfortable. He wasn't sure why, but something about the situation didn't feel right. After several more attempts at playing this special game, Rahul began to feel more uneasy. He wasn't enjoying it anymore, and every time he hesitated, Aunt Shati encouraged him to keep playing one evening. Rahul couldn't hold back his feelings anymore. "I don't want to play anymore, Auntie," he said softly. And Shati paused for a moment and then smiled reassuringly. "Don't worry, Rahul. You're doing the right thing." But Rahul was no longer reassured. He realized that what he was feeling was real, and that his discomfort was a sign that something wasn't right. Unsure of how to process it, he decided to confide in his teacher the next day at school. His teacher, Mrs. Clark, noticed something was wrong. Rahul, who was usually lively and talkative, seemed quiet and distant. "Rahul, is everything okay?" she asked kindly. He hesitated, staring at his desk, but finally spoke up. "Miss Clark, my Aunt Srimati is acting in a way that makes me feel uncomfortable." Mrs. Clark listened carefully. Her expression filled with concern. "You're very brave, Rahul," she said softly. "What you're feeling is important, and I want to help you." Mrs. Clark immediately informed the school counselor, who then contacted Rahul's parents. When Rahul's parents learned what had been happening, they were devastated. "We're so sorry, Rahul," his mother said, hugging him tightly. "We should have listened to you sooner." His father nodded. "From now on, we'll make sure you're never alone again." Rahul's family reported Aunt Srimati to the police, and a kind officer spoke with Rahul, assuring him that he had done the right thing. Soon after, Aunt Shati was arrested, and the truth of what had been happening was revealed to the neighborhood. Hidden behind her warm smiles, determined to be more present in their son's life, Rahul's parents adjusted their schedules so he was never left alone after school. They also took him to a counselor who helped him process his emotions and heal from the experience. As time passed, Rahul's fears slowly faded, the nightmares stopped, and his confidence began to return. He was back to playing with his friends, smiling and laughing, just like before. A few weeks later, Rahul approached Mrs. Clark at school. "Thank you for helping me," he said sincerely. "You were very brave, Rahul," she replied with a warm smile. Through this experience, Rahul learned an important lesson. It's always okay to speak up when something feels wrong. There are people who will listen, believe, and protect you,